points. Joy, a lot of players are under a lot of pressure. Tua Tagovailoa never won a playoff game. Patrick Mahomes, he's still trying to stay on the throne. Travis Kelce, amongst others. But who is under the most pressure in the Dolphins-Chiefs game?
I think it's Tua for sure. I think you all disagree with me that the Dolphins are under a whole lot more pressure than the Chiefs are. So I'm going to stick with that. I think that there's so much on the line for the Dolphins this weekend. There's so much on the line for Tua. Tua hasn't been paid. There's still questions about whether he's a franchise quarterback or not. I don't think so. I think he is. But you've also put yourself in a position where you got to go play in 9 degrees lower than no degrees.
That part.
It's colder now today.
I know. I'm hoping it stays at 9. It's not going to get any colder. You had an opportunity. You had a stranglehold on the division. You had 3 games up. You lost it at home, played terrible at home to Josh Allen, who looked like a superstar, and then took a lap around your building, which is crazy disrespectful, and I can't even be mad at him because he earned it. Listen, to do that in Miami on that night is a crazy thing to do, and I respect it because who gonna stop me? Who gonna stop me? Yeah. 3rd and 13, right down, get the first down. Thank you. Take the division back, still at the top. You put yourselves in this position. So I think it's all on Tua. Tua has to go and get this win. The Chiefs are not the same Chiefs that we've seen before. I understand it's cold. So what? You play football. Football is played mostly outside. Everybody doesn't have a dome. You got to be able to prepare for that. I understand. I'm saying this with a heated blanket on my lap. Okay? From the safety of this studio. I understand. But I have sat out in those games before, too, where I wasn't running around. I know how cold it is. I've gotten caught in a blizzard in Kansas City before. It's going to be cold. Nobody cares about that. Nobody's going to cry any tears for you. No one's going to remember that you played in freezing cold temperatures. You have to go get this win. I think all the pressure's on Tua.
Yeah. I'm going to say Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, my dog, so I'm about to be really real. One of my favorite quotes, and this is why Travis Kelce's under the most pressure. Nobody cares what you're doing until you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Say that one more time.
Nobody cares what you're doing until you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. We didn't care what Travis Kelce was doing when he had 7 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. We didn't care what Travis Kelce was doing when the Kansas City Chiefs were going to 3 Super Bowls, including winning 2. We didn't care what Travis Kelce was doing when he looked like the greatest receiving tight end in the history of the National Football League. But now that Travis Kelce's 7 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons has been snapped, albeit he did sit out the Week 18 game, albeit there didn't used to be 18 weeks in a season, now that the Kansas City Chiefs look as bad as they have looked in the last 6 years, now that Travis Kelce does not look like the same killer Trav that we all know and love, now we care what he is doing. So the question is, what is he doing? Well, he's doing a podcast, which he didn't used to be doing. Very successful podcast, may I add. Shout out to them. He's going to baseball games in Texas on a Friday before a Sunday game in Denver, which, oh, by the way, they lost. He's hosting Saturday Night Live. He's dating one of the most famous people in our world. But what I found most intriguing was this quote by his team. Not my team, his team. And it very simply said, "We position Travis to be world famous, not a world champion." See, Andy Reid has positioned Travis Kelce, and Travis Kelce has positioned himself to be a world champion. But his team has positioned him to be world famous. And it appears, James Jones, that this year, those two desires have collided. Oprah Winfrey told me you can have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time. It appears that he's trying to have it all at the same time. Nobody cares what you're doing until you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. We don't care if Travis Kelce and the Chiefs win. If they win, shout out to the podcast, shout out to Taylor Swift, shout out to SNL, shout out to going to the Rangers game. But if they lose, oh, it's going to be bad.
That's a good take, my brother. That's a good take right there on Travis Kelce. I agree. But for me, it's Tyreek Hill. And the reason why I say Tyreek Hill is the last time they played the Kansas City Chiefs, my dog came out and he said they could get this smoke anywhere. And he came out there, and the reason the Dolphins lost that game is because his catch and fumble, and they took back to the crib, and they lost that game. Last week, right, had a couple drops that really could have, won that game for the Miami Dolphins. The previous week, dropped a big-time touchdown that could have led to some momentum in Baltimore. He has not been playing his best football. But not only that, he was in the MVP conversation for a reason. He was on pace for 2,000 yards, something that has never been done in the National Football League. Since week 13, he has not had 100 yards, right? And he's only had 1 touchdown. No knock on him because people are trying to take him away. But the knock is if he don't ball, they don't win. Point blank period. If he don't ball, Tua don't play well. Point blank period. So all the pressure is on him. When he plays well and has over 100 yards, they win the football game. So for me, all the pressure is on Tyreek Hill because he makes everything easier on Tua and this offense.
2-5. Who has the most pressure?
I'm going with Patrick Mahomes, right? I think he's the best player on the field. I think we all could agree on that. You know, when players get contracts, we all tend to just to chime in on it, right? And when we heard he was getting half of $1 billion, we said, cool, it's Patrick Mahomes. That's how good he is. And for this team to win this game, because we know his wide receivers are going to be up and down that game. Easy passes, they're going to drop it. That's what's been going on all year. But he's so good. I watched the Super Bowl against my Eagles. It wasn't no passes. It was some runs for 30 yards, 20 yards to win the game. If they're going to win this game, it got to be on Patrick Mahomes' shoulders. He's that good. He's the best player on the field. And I'm going with him for the most pressure.
This will be a good one. Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, all stars or budding stars. A lot of pressure in that one.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.